So it's been about 2 days now since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and some on the left are pouncing on the opportunity to smear the legacy that he left behind. Here's Democrat Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who believes now is not the time to mourn.
Charlie was someone who once said, guns save lives after a school shooting. Charlie was someone who was willing to debate and downplay the death of George Floyd. There are a lot of people who are out there talking about him just wanting to have a civil debate.
Complete rewriting of history.
Yeah, there is nothing more effed up, than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade or so. These people are full of shit, and it's important for us to call them out.
There you have it. Let's bring in Dave Rubin. Great to have you in New York, Dave, host of the Rubin Report and very close friend of Charlie Kirk's. And we sympathize with your deep loss of your friend.
Well, it's everybody. It's everybody in this building. It's the look that you gave me when we walked in. When I walked in here, it's like this should not be happening, and yet here we are. And then there's all the political and cultural war part of it that we just saw. That's completely secondary to a good man who is not with us anymore.
I mean, there are some people who are, I think, trying to make an effort to do the right thing. I think Bernie Sanders put out a statement that was positive. But, Ilhan Omar, what would you say to her about the things that she's saying?
Well, first, I would say broadly about Charlie, when it comes to people like Ilhan, there was no one, not a single person in America at a high-profile level who was doing a better job of reaching across the aisle than him. That is what his ethos was, his entire career and everything he was doing at the colleges. And years ago, I did, dozens of those events with him, and we'd get protests, and they'd pull fire alarms, and they'd throw things at us, and bomb threats, and all those things. And we would always say, if you disagree with us, come up first. That was from Charlie, and I do that now in all of my shows. I fully credit Charlie for that. I think Charlie would hear what Ilhan said right there, and I think he would say, you want to talk it out? I really think he would. Now, it's getting increasingly difficult to do that, to watch her smile and to watch the smugness about that, and the implication that that somehow if you're for guns, that there's some layer of hypocrisy of him being killed here is so profoundly absurd. But there's also this other part of this where we end up now talking about politics, and there is a wife without her husband, and there are children without their father, and there is a young conservative movement that doesn't have a leader right now. And that's, Charlie represented something that was bigger than politics, in that what he wanted was America to be for Americans, in that he didn't really care what your exact political beliefs were. He had his. They were very clear and everything else. But he and I would debate things all the time. When we met 10 years ago, I was a lefty, so we would debate abortion, we'd debate marriage equality, we would debate all of the death penalty, everything. And over the years, thanks in large part to Charlie's eloquence, we became a lot closer. And I don't know that Charlie and I had much we disagreed on, but there was no one doing it more than Charlie. So anyone right now that is attaching this to his rhetoric or anything else, as I would say, needs only a mirror.
I think some of these people are lashing out so strongly, like Ilhan Omar, because they see what's happening. This sad event has provoked people to actually go look and watch what Charlie was doing on campuses and to see the back and forth. And I think many of them never really saw it and really watched it before.
Wouldn't that be the most beautiful legacy, that their hysteria then drives them
to actually watch these exchanges? And I feel this way about a lot of things. But here's Stephen King apologizing. He says, I apologize for saying Charlie Kirk advocated stoning gays. And then he goes on to talk about cherry-picking Bible passages. Your response to that?
Well, my response is what I said to him on Twitter, which is that he's actually more monstrous than any of the characters that he created. That's not an excuse for anyone to hurt Stephen King, obviously. Martha, I happen to be gay. I'm married to a man. Charlie and I broke bread many times. He came to my house many times. We sat together at weddings many times. Charlie did not hate anyone, and I wish Stephen King was even half as good a human as apparently he is a fiction writer.
Dave Rubin, it's great to have you in-house today. I know you were here for the 9/11 remembrance, which is also such an important part of this week. A lot of loss that we are all reminded of this week, and Charlie's obviously the freshest of all. And again, my sympathies. I know you were very close, and thanks for being here, Dave.
Good to see
we
you.
always love talking to you.